good old Rotten Tomatoes, ladies and gentlemen. Rotten Tomatoes is a website that we have done videos on many times. You know, anytime we have a major movie release, Rotten Tomatoes, you could pretty much guarantee, especially from Disney, you can guarantee you're going to get a lot of manipulated reviews, especially recently when they started doing their whole verified review thing where they like to gatekeep reviews that are all positive, let those ones go through, but the 1 out of 10s or the 1 out of 5s or whatever the scoring metric is, they don't let those go through because they're considered spam bots. Even though if you look at the 1 out of 5s, usually they have well-written, highly detailed reviews, and the 10 out of 10s are like, oh, great movie, must see, and they let those go through no problem. But what am I talking about? Well, apparently, Rotten Tomatoes has a very scandalous situation going on right now. And we have an article here from IGN, good old shill media website, another one that really shouldn't be talking about Rotten Tomatoes because they're the exact same. But it says Rotten Tomatoes comes under fire after PR firm scheme to pay critics for positive reviews is uncovered. Ladies and gentlemen, this should be the least shocking thing you have seen in your day so far. Rotten Tomatoes being paid for positive reviews should not be shocking in the slightest. This is a website that is known for their nonsense. This is the website that constantly changes their rules in order to benefit not only themselves, but the studios that pay them. So let's get into this article, guys, from IGN. But of course, before we do, just consider giving me a subscribe. I'm shadow banned as hell, and like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. So it says, while film and television reviews aggregator Rotten Tomatoes has come under scrutiny by filmmakers like Martin Scorsese before, a new report doubles down on why consumers may want to think twice before taking a recommendation from the website. An in-depth report published earlier today, Vulture uncovered a scheme from a PR firm called Bunker 15 to goose reviews for 2018 Daisy Ridley drama Ophelia after initial reviews came in, resulting in a disappointing 46% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. A movie is deemed rotten if falling short of 60% rating. Vulture reports that Bunker 15 started paying lower-level critics on the website to post positive reviews for $50 a pop, essentially trying to manipulate the system. The firm also lobbied one critic to change their negative review to positive. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that $50 is enough for a critic to sell their integrity goes to show that we don't need these people, okay? Like, we genuinely do not need these professional critics, so-called professional critics. We don't need them. Like, you go watch your favorite YouTuber. That's usually what people do now. Go watch your favorite YouTuber, get some opposing opinions, and formulate something in your own mind. Because at the end of the day, these people are paid shills. That's what they are. That's what we've always called them. I've called them this from day one, and this just proves it even more that Rotten Tomatoes is rotten to the core. Just like all these other websites, IGN is no different. When they review video games, GameSpot, whatever the fuck it's called, is no different. They are all the same. They get paid to give positive reviews, and they want to pretend like they don't, but we all know that they do, especially when the opinion of the movie is so dissenting from the fans themselves. It's pretty obvious that they have a certain either ideology that they have to adhere to, or they're getting paid to give a positive review. It's not just money. It also is ideologically based. You're going to see a lot of reviewers who are heavily leaning into the LGBTQ stuff. They're going to give 10 out of 10s for anything that even remotely pushes LGBTQ nonsense. But the moment they watch a straight movie, all of a sudden now it's a 2 out of 10 and it could do better. You know what I'm saying? You guys see those kind of reviewers all the time. So it says, as it turns out, the scheme worked and money followed. Ophelia jumped to a 62% rating, scoring that coveted fresh label. And the next month, IFC Films announced it acquired the film for distribution. Bunker 15, for its part, denied the allegations. Of course they're going to, with founder Daniel Harlow telling Venture, "We have thousands of writers in our distribution list. A small handful have set up a specific system where filmmakers can sponsor or pay to have them review a film." Understandably, many reacted to the report with a mixture of disbelief and sadness over how this could happen. Why would you have disbelief? Like, I don't know why you have disbelief at all over this being a thing. I mean, this should be the most obvious thing you've heard today. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that people are out there and are genuinely shocked by Rotten Tomatoes taking money for reviews, I really think that you have too much faith in these companies. I really do. And you know what? Maybe there is people out there like that. I would almost guarantee there is. But it is still sad when you see people like that genuinely shocked that Rotten Tomatoes got money for a review. I mean, come on. That's like IGN getting paid money for game reviews. Happens all the time. And then you have this person here, Richard Lawson. Why am I wasting time trying and often failing to say something cognate or interesting about movies I see when I should just be writing yes or no and hitting publish. I mean, isn't that what most of the guys do anyway? This person says Rotten Tomatoes has always been an embarrassment to the profession. The certified critic designation, the equivalent of a participation trophy, the grading format, a total sham. It weaponizes the illusion of diverse voices against basic standards of good criticism. Burn it all. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. It says, and although Rotten Tomatoes told Vulture that it takes the integrity of our scores seriously and does not tolerate any attempts to manipulate them, in an alarming example of how easily critics aggregators like Rotten Tomatoes can be manipulated, especially when it's financial incentive to do so. Well, the funny thing is, Rotten Tomatoes, they're the ones who manipulate their numbers all the time. You know what I mean? They don't want anybody else to manipulate the numbers, but Rotten Tomatoes literally manipulates their own numbers all the time. We saw it happen. You know what I mean? Like Woman King. Woman King was stuck at 100% for I don't even know how long. That is statistically impossible. Like the chances of that happening was just so slim to none. You're more likely to get struck by lightning than Woman King being stuck at 100% for as long as it was. Look at Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid was stuck at 95%. And it doesn't matter how many reviews came in, thousands of reviews were pouring in as they were letting more and more go, as they were gatekeeping them, and the number stayed at 95%. If I were to check it today, I wonder if it would still be at 95%. So I checked the numbers, and as expected, the audience score is still at a verified 94%. Sorry, it dropped 1% as they let 10,000 verified ratings. So they only let a little over 10,000 verified ratings and 339 reviews from critics. Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a fucking sham. There is no way that the audience score is 94% for this long. Critics were more likely to give this movie a positive review versus the actual people that went to go see it. All people were talking about on Twitter was how bad this movie was. And you mean to tell me it's at a 94% this entire time still to this day? This number is heavily manipulated. Again, Rotten Tomatoes is very big on manipulating their own numbers. So it says, as the Vulture report notes, Rotten Tomatoes has become incredibly influential, both within the business of Hollywood and from the consumer's perspective. When it comes to the former, the example of Ophelia is a fitting one. When films debut at festivals like Sundance, as Ophelia did, companies monitor their reception to evaluate whether or not they should acquire those movies for distribution. Whether they're prioritizing commercial appeal or potential awards glory, how critics and other viewers respond out of those initial screenings isn't without importance. As for consumers, that's a little more obvious. For some, a Rotten Tomatoes score could make or break a decision to head out to the movie theaters or pay for a rental. While a fresh or rotten score isn't everything, many look at the percentage to get a quick idea of how they should spend their money. And as much as I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Rotten Tomatoes is still looked at by a lot of people as some sort of legitimate website, but hopefully with this story coming out, people will realize little by little that Rotten Tomatoes is exactly what we all knew it was, which was rotten to the core. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.